What if I told you that you could post to Facebook, LinkedIn, Threads, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest for unlimited brands with just one N8N workflow? Most people build separate automation nodes for every single social network and brand combination. That means if you have 3 brands and 8 social platforms, you're looking at 24 different configurations to maintain. Today, I'm going to show you how to build a single infinitely scalable workflow that uses Airtable as your control center and smart array indexing to handle any number of social networks and brands. You'll literally just add a row to Airtable, hit a button, and watch your content distribute everywhere. By the end of this video, you'll have a bulletproof system that automatically handles different posting requirements for each platform, whether that's Facebook and LinkedIn requiring account as well as page IDs, or Pinterest requiring a board ID, and the video versus image requirements. Plus, it converts Google Drive share links to download links on the fly and tracks every post in a master database. The reason I came up with this workflow is because when I was automating my own websites using Blotato, I needed to create a different node for each of my brands. So rather than doing this for finding out what my ID is for every single brand and social network, I combined all of the brand information with all of the social network information, and I created a streamlined version that uses a simple list of IDs based on social network and brand. So for each brand that you take on as an agency, you need only create your IDs here in Blotato. You're connected to all of your networks, and then take these IDs and create a new set of variables that corresponds with both the brand and the IDs that you just created. So if you were to create new YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn accounts, you would grab the accounts and the page IDs from Blotato and set up a new one of these based on the name that you give your customer, where Facebook, Instagram, etc. are all exactly the same, but instead of Interolux, you have Nike or Ford or whoever your customer is. And then the only other thing you would need to do is over in your brand column, you would add your customer here. So if I had Nike here, then in this one file in our workflow, we would change all of these to Nike, and we would create a social ID for each of Nike's accounts and then assign those IDs to our Nike variables. That's all you'd have to do, and then this workflow would post on your behalf for every assignment that you give it in this Airtable. So the Airtable is your locus of control, and it says that you're going to post this content, which is your title, and the post is the command to post. So this is the row that gets pulled on automation. And then you can choose from any of these automations, and these correspond to those automations that you will set up in your Blotato. If you don't have a particular social platform for a given client and you try to post to that platform for that client, the automation will gracefully error, and you will then just remove the offending social platform that doesn't exist for that client and run the automation again. It won't leave you with half-posted jobs where you don't know what posted and what didn't post. Instead, nothing will post until that error check comes back error-free. So for, in this case, Interolux, if I don't have an Instagram for Interolux, then I'll error out, I'll come back here and get rid of it. Now these are 3 social networks that I do have associated with this brand based on my Blotato connections, and so the content on this line will now post successfully for all 3 social networks for that brand. Over here we have the Pinterest board, which is actually hard-coded in this current iteration of this automation, but eventually this will be a multiple select drop-down that allows you to select the boards. Problem with that, though, is that you need all the boards for any given Pinterest account for your customer, and that is a lot of gathering of IDs on your part and putting them into this multiple select. So that's a little bit more of a challenge and will take some more time, but this will eventually be in this automation. Then the promo URL is where you want the customer's customer to go when they click the social content link, and the video URL and image URL URL are the media for your content. And if you put the share link in here, it will automatically convert it to the download link that Blotato needs. Then when you do the post, it will create a line for every combination of social network, and it will create a line for every combination. So over here, we will have InteroLux Pinterest, InteroLux Facebook, and InteroLux LinkedIn. And so when they get posted, there'll be a line here, which is this will be InteroLux, and this will be Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. 3 more lines showing that that content posted to those networks on behalf of that customer. Pinterest must have a board ID or it won't go through. Facebook and LinkedIn must have a page ID as well as an account ID. And for the time being, Blotato only posts images to Blue Sky and Pinterest. So if you don't provide an image on those requests, then the automation will come back with a message. So how does this work? You'll create a set of IDs for every social network for your brand. Facebook will have 2 social IDs because it has both an account ID and a page ID. LinkedIn also will have 2 social IDs. And Pinterest will have 2 because it has the brand ID and the board ID. And in this case, that is a string. Ultimately, this will be an array of boards that you can post to, and you'll specify those in your Airtable multiple select. The rest of the variable definitions for your Blotato IDs will just be account IDs, one for Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. If the brand does not have an account on a given social network, then you just give it an empty string. When the automation indexes into this list, and you've requested, for example, Twitter for this brand, it will recognize that it doesn't have the Blotato ID to post on Twitter, and it will gracefully ask you to fix it before it will post anything for any of the requests on that row. So when we run this, we now have a set of potential Blotato connections that we can post to, and our Blotato API, which we get also from the bottom of the settings page right here. Then we'll read the Airtable and we'll ask for where the action is equal to post, the brand has got data in it, and the social networks has data in it. And in this case, what we're going to get back is the title is Sweet Dreams, the video URL is this drive address, the promo URL is a magnesium article on my site, image URL is this address, the social networks requested are Pinterest, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the brand is InteroLux, which is an error actually, because this is, we're pointing to as well you should, but we're asking for the brand, so we'll go back and fix that. And if we're posting to Pinterest, the board would be self-care, but we know that's hard-coded and ignored for the time being. Let's watch what happens when we ask for posting to social networks for which the brand does not have an account. This content, and we'll put it on every social network, and we'll do this for the brand as well you should, which is a wellness brand. Makes more sense to send a picture of a cat and saying Sweet Dreams for a wellness brand than it does for a luxury brand. And now let's ask for all rows in this table that are requesting a post, and we'll run the automation, and we get back the Blotato account ID for social network Threads is undefined. So that means we asked for Threads, but we don't have an ID for Threads defined because we don't have an account there. So we'll remove that request from the social post. Then we'll run it again, and we'll get an error that TikTok is undefined because we don't have an account there. Then we get YouTube is undefined because we don't have an account there, and Blue Sky is undefined because we don't have an account there. We should have Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter all hooked up through our Blotato, so these should pass through. So we're going to hold off on watching that complete automation until we explain a few more things. The next thing we'll do is check to see if the Google Share for the media is the sharing type of link or the download type of link. If it's the sharing type of link, which is much easier to grab and put in your spreadsheet, then it will convert that into a download link, and Blotato will accept that, and when we upload the video for this post to the Blotato server. Then we will take all of the social networks that we're getting requests for here, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Pinterest. Okay, so let's run through the social network. So we're going to iterate over every social network. First Pinterest, then Facebook, then LinkedIn, then Instagram, then Twitter. And we'll run the entire series of error checking against every combination of this brand plus that social network. So as well you should. Pinterest is the first one. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. They're all running the same content, the sweet dreams. They're all running the same video URL and the same promo URL. And the action is post. The brand is as well you should. And then the fixed URLs for the media are in this field. So the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to construct our Blotato IDs. What that means is that we're going to index into the array or the JSON object that has all of our Blotato IDs in it. And we're going to reach in and pluck out the IDs that we need to post to the remaining social networks on our list. So let's look at how that works. If I just ask for the Blotato IDs.item.json and then I ask for an array, the system will actually prompt me for the index into that array that I'm looking for. So if the first one is Pinterest, as well you should, that's going to give me 735. It gives me 735 because Pinterest, as well you should, is defined as 735. So we're indexing into the JSON object for the given combination of the social network and the brand. That's what this JSON social hyphen JSON brand is doing. Pinterest hyphen as well you should. It's the same concept for the page ID, which is required for LinkedIn and Facebook, and for the board ID, which is required for Pinterest. We're just saying the social, which is Pinterest in this case, hyphen page, hyphen as well you should. Since Pinterest doesn't require a page ID, this is undefined. During this particular loop through the nodes, Pinterest will never result in a page ID being formed because that variable as well you or Pinterest hyphen page hyphen as well you should doesn't exist. What does exist is when we're doing Facebook or LinkedIn, then we'll have a page ID, but we won't have a board ID. So if we index into this array and we ask for anything beginning with Pinterest and then as well you should, we'll get 735. But if we ask for a page for Pinterest, we get undefined because there are no pages on Pinterest. So we don't have a variable representing our ID for a page on Pinterest. But we do have a page on Facebook and we do have a page on LinkedIn. And so those will result in account IDs that we'll ask Blotato to use to post our social content to Facebook and LinkedIn. And the same pattern is true for the Pinterest board ID. In this case, board ID does come through because we're currently iterating over the Pinterest social network. And so we get a resolution of this chain of concatenated requests. The Blotato IDs array asks for as well you should plus board plus Pinterest board and then as well you should. And that results in Pinterest board as well you should 112 and there's 112. So let's run this through this point. And we went through our error checking successfully because we're not asking for anything that doesn't exist anymore. And what this output was is if it's not successful, we get an error message. But if it is successful, then we've determined what the media is for this specific post for this specific social network. And the way that works is if the social platform is not Pinterest and not Blue Sky, and there's a video, then the video is the media that we'll use. If it's not Pinterest and it's not Blue Sky and there is no video, then there had better be an image because that is the only other media that we can use. And then for Blue Sky and Pinterest, for the time being, we can only post images, so there has to be an image for if either of those networks are requested. So over in your command sheet, if you have Pinterest or Blue Sky in your social request, then you are going to have an image in your image column. If you don't, then you can have a video or an image. The automation will give preference to the video if it exists, and it will use the image if the video does not exist. for those networks that can handle either video or an image. Then we're going to upload the media for this particular social network to Blotato to post. So the way this works right now is that we have 5 different requests, and we're going to post that media to Blotato 5 times. A better solution that I'll work on after this video is to post the media, whether that be image, video, or both, to Blotato, grab the URL for that, and then for the next however many iterations there are, grab the image or video for the given case, and you've only posted to Blotato 2 times maximum, 1 for video, 1 for image. Next, we're going to create the standard API endpoint for Blotato. So there's a minimum set of fields that have to exist in the API call to ask Blotato to post for you. And those are your post, target type, URL, account ID, content text, media URLs, and platform. Every request will have these at a minimum. Then we'll go into some code and we'll set, or into a variable assignment. I had to add this as a little bit of a kludge. So when we added for some reason, the JSON stopped being an object and turned into a string. And so this is a little kludge to turn it back into a JSON object. Then we'll take, for each network that loops through, we will ask, is this a Pinterest post? If it is, then add the board ID to the API JSON. If it's LinkedIn or Facebook, add the page ID to the API request. This is just debugging. And then we will force this into being an object again. This will get streamlined, but this is a kludge because it kept turning into a string. And now we're going to do the final deed, which is where we post our content. So we're going to iterate through this node 5 times, 1 for each network, and we will send the Blotato API to this Blotato address, and then we'll send this simple JSON body because we constructed the API to go to Blotato in the previous steps. So the first time through, we did post to Pinterest, this URL, this board ID, and this JPEG. And then we did post to Facebook, this page ID, and this video. Then we said LinkedIn, this page ID, and this video. Then we said Instagram, this account, this video, and Twitter, this account, and this video. So we'll go to my profile and see what the last thing is. It got, let's see, oh, I see me. Okay, there we go. So there's our sweet dreams and our kittens. And we posted this just now to 5 networks. And to drive home how simple this is, all we did was ask for a post, select our networks, select our brand, tell it where we want the user to go when we click the link, if there is that capacity in that type of post, and our video and or our image, depending on the network. And we got, we ran this without finishing. So we just did a test step rather than going all the way through. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt and finish telling the posted table that the content is posted, and then recording the post operations in here where it looks like we have an error where this should actually say this one would be Facebook and this one would be Instagram or whatever we defined over here. So that was a letdown. That bug just happened, but I'm going to publish this video anyway because I think you get the point. We have Sweet Dreams as the title, as well you should as our brand. The network was each one of the ones that we defined, which will pop up here when that bug is fixed. And we recorded the promo URL, the video URL, and the image URL associated with that request. So that is how you post to infinite brands without having to go into your N8N nodes and construct JSON for the different use cases. You can post to as many brands as you like and every social network that Blotato connects to.